Hello, my name is Randa Lopez Morgan, and I am the Events and Programming Librarian, as well as the liaison to the College of Agriculture, Coast and Environment, and Geology and Geophysics. Some of what we're going to be looking at today may just be review for you, and that's okay. Hopefully, you will also learn something new. Research can be a super frustrating process, but it doesn't have to be. I see a lot of students who often just feel unconfident in their research process, or they just get overwhelmed in general with even how to start.
I also see a lot of students where maybe this is their first time ever having to do research for a paper, or maybe it's just been a while. Either way, my job is to help you and to make this process not so frightening. So, what can I do? Primarily, I can help you find resources for your papers, teach you how to use the databases, help you figure out a topic, a research strategy, or just help you with citations. I can also help you get a research game plan where we sit down and figure out the best way to search for your paper. What can't I do? I cannot and will not write your paper or tell you if your paper is good or not. You honestly don't want me to read your paper. I don't have the time. If you need writing help, the CXC is available for all paper writing needs. They do a great job and I highly recommend them.
All right, let's jump in. Today we are looking at sources for your upper level AEEE 4000 level course.
The best way of getting to this guide is by logging into your MyLSU, selecting Library Resources, and then LSU Library's homepage. From there, we will select Research Guides in the middle of the page and scroll down to Agricultural Extension, Education, and Evaluation. This guide might also be linked in your Moodle.
Our research guides are a starting place for your research. This guide does not cover everything that the library has to offer. It is comprised of different sections and contains things you may or may not need for your paper or your class. That being said, you might need to look outside this guide for other sources. I often tell students that this guide is like looking through the window of a house. When you look through a window, you see only a small bit of the house and not the whole house. I didn't want to overwhelm you with resources. This first landing tab is all about books and how to search for books in the library. We have a link to the LSU Library's online catalog here. Here you can search for books. If I look up the words raise and 4-H, I get this title, Raise, What 4-H Teaches 7 Million Kids and How Its Lessons Could Change Food and Farming Forever. This is where I can access it online. If I search Love and Compassion, I get this title, Love and Compassion, Exploring the Role in Education by John P. Miller. I can see where in the library this book is by selecting Find in the Library. This link provides a map so you can see where exactly the book is. This is helpful as we are in a shifting process and book locations may change. You can also put this book on hold to come and pick it up later. Going back to the guide, I also have some canned searches you can try out. In case you forget, I have also listed information on how to place a hold on a book within the catalog, as well as information literacy tutorials and information on citation help. Both are excellent to use if it's been a while and you need a refresher. The next tab is journals. These are journals that are specific to your field. This is not everything we have, but it is a curated list. If you hover over the title, you can see the date range of the journal and the information about what is the focus of each title. This is just one access point for this journal. When I made this, I tried to use the link that had the largest date range. If you're looking for an article that falls outside of the date range listed, email me or search for the journal title in the catalog. We might have a different access point with a different date range listed elsewhere. Below this list of journals is information about scholarly communication. You may or may not be interested in this. This is more if you decide to publish one day. The next tab is databases. Here are some of the most frequently used databases for your field. Again, this is not all of our databases, but ones that can be helpful. I'll do a quick demo search in Discovery. This Discovery database is what we call a federated search, which just means it searches a lot of other databases. This is a good starting place if you're just trying to figure out what's out there. This is also the main search on the front page of the library's website. If I do a search, compassion and education, I get 31,000 results. Now, unlike Google, where if I go to the second or third page, I'm not finding anything helpful, if I were to go to the 100th page of these results, I'm going to still find relevant material. It's why it's so important to give yourself time to properly do a search. The first time I research a topic, I usually fail. And that's okay. This process isn't straightforward. Now we have our results. Let's filter on the left-hand side of the page. We can pick scholarly, peer-reviewed, maybe change our dates to the past 10 years, and let's filter to academic journals. Doing this, I now have almost 13,000 results, which is still a lot. Looking at my other limiters, I can limit by subject. This is great if you're still exploring and you want to see other concepts tied to this topic. Clicking Show More lets me see all the different ways I can explore this topic. I could focus it on empathy or mindfulness. I could limit to higher education or specific fields like nursing. This can be a great way to get curious about your topic. I can also limit by publication, language, and geography. A word of caution, you can overfilter. If you try to limit to geography and you just want United States, you could accidentally filter out specific states because those states were indexed and not the phrase United States. You can also miss out on some important and relevant research if you exclude research in other languages. Other countries do research too, and a topic could be better researched in another language.
The last filter I think is the most important. If you're searching in Discovery and you're getting overwhelmed by the number of results, try looking under Databases Searched. This will tell you all of the databases Discovery is pulling from. This can help you find your relevant databases and help you focus your topic. Scrolling back up, let's look at the second result, towards a self-compassionate music education, affirmative politics, self-compassion, and anti-oppression. I can see the author, journal title, volume, issue, and pages. I can select linked full text to try and get access to the article. I can see the subject terms. Take a look at those and see if those words better fit your search. If I scroll down, I can also see that this journal doesn't come from Discovery, but instead it comes from JSTOR journals. When you're doing your citations, you'll want to list JSTOR journals as the database and not Discovery. On the right-hand side of the page, I can print, send this article to your email, cite, export to a citation manager like Zotero or EndNote, or save the permalink. The citation feature is great if citations make you nervous. This is computer generated, so you will need to double check it, but can be a great starting place. Now, if you need to send this article to yourself, your teacher, or a friend, make sure you save the permalink and not the link at the top of the page. The link at the very top of the page is session dependent and will close after you close the page. Going back to the guide. Not all of these databases look or search the same way. Some of them have very specific ways of searching. If you try your keywords and you aren't finding what you expect, try changing the words you're using. Language is 90% of the search. If you need help finding the right words, send me an email and we can work through it together. We might need to change the words or phrase or just change databases completely. Another tab is Interlibrary Loan. If you come across an article online that we don't have access to, please don't pay for it. Use Interlibrary Loan instead. The service is free to use and is pretty quick. Some articles I get in a few minutes, some may take a few hours, and I have at least one article that took 3 weeks, but that was only because it was in another language. This is another reason why it is so important to not wait until the last minute to do your searching. You can do ILL for books, book chapters, articles, reports, you name it, we could probably get it for you. This page has a ton of information, and if you have any questions, ILL can help you. There's also some videos if you have any questions. This service is honestly the best part of a library. ILL are a bunch of dang magicians. The next tab with drop-downs is government documents. I'm not going to go into every one of them here, but just know that the government has some incredible resources that they make available for free. They also collect all kinds of data that could be useful. However, they can be difficult to go through. We do have a fantastic government documents librarian named Haley Johnson. She's magic with finding some of these things. Again, this is not all of the government documents that we have access to, just some of them. If you need assistance finding something at a .gov website, Haley is your new best friend. One of them I will mention is the tab that says Education. The Department of Education has research and data on a ton of things that you might be interested in. Here are some links Haley has curated for education that might come in use for your class, including some things specific to Louisiana. Finally, we have web resources. This tab has some professional organizations and websites listed. Professional orgs can be excellent places to find information. Don't underestimate the power of organizations. They keep a lot of records and do a lot of research that could be useful. If after you watch this video and you still need help, that's totally okay. I'm here to help you out. You can email me by clicking this button here. You can also directly schedule an appointment with me by clicking here. Select any time or date that works for you. I do ask that you give me as much detail about what we're working on before our meeting so I have some time to look up your research questions. I may be the expert on searching, but you're the experts in this field. This link is connected to my calendar, so if I have free time, it is yours. I would prefer meeting over Zoom, at least during this time, so I will send you a link to my Zoom app before our meeting. If Zoom doesn't work for you, I can try to accommodate you. Shoot me a message and let's talk. Another librarian who is wonderful and can also probably help you is Andrea Hebert. She is the Human Sciences and Education Librarian. She is also the liaison for education students and can help you navigate some of the educational-based resources. I have also listed the Education Research Guide and the Higher Education Administration Guide. Just for funsies, I also listed the Open Educational Resources / Affordable Educational Resources Guide so you can take a look at open education material. So that's about it. Thank you for watching this video. If you need help, let me know. Research can be an extremely frustrating process, even for the experts. Don't be afraid to reach out if you have questions. My job is literally to help you out. If things ever go back to normal, feel free to stop by and visit me in the library. And if I'm ever out for whatever reason, any of the librarians can help you. They're a fantastic group of humans and love helping students. Thank you.